The mahogany table in our childhood home groaned under the weight of 40 years' worth of memories as my brother Derek slapped down a document like a winning poker hand. Dad signed this yesterday, he announced to the assembled family, his voice thick with false grief and real greed. Everything's mine, the house, the business, the investments, just like he always promised. I set down my coffee cup with deliberate calm and reached for the leather folder I'd brought, knowing this moment would come since I'd gotten the call from Dad's nurse at 3 a.m. Funny. He signed mine last month at Richardson and Associates law office. Yours is forged, the handwriting expert confirmed it this morning. How many years had Derek been practicing Dad's signature in preparation for this exact moment, and how long had he known Dad was already 2 steps ahead of him? The living room fell silent except for the grandfather clock's steady ticking. The same clock Derek had tried to sell 3 years ago when he needed bail money. Our sisters, Katherine and Melissa, exchanged glances across the coffee table. Aunt Helen clutched her pearls. Uncle Robert slowly set down his whiskey. Derek's face cycled through emotions like a slot machine before landing on outrage. You're lying. Dad would never. Cut me out, I finished calmly. No, he didn't. He left you exactly what he thought you deserved. But we'll get to that. I opened my folder, pulling out the pristine legal documents bearing the raised seal of Richardson Associates. October 15th. Dad called me at work, said he needed me to come to his lawyer's office. When I asked why, he said he wanted witnesses who wouldn't be tempted to forge his signature later. Katherine gasped. Dad knew. Dad knew everything, I said, laying out the documents one by one. He knew about the missing money from the safe. He knew about the fake receipts for his medical expenses. He knew about Derek's visits to the house when no one else was around. Those are serious accusations, Derek said, but his lawyer's bluster couldn't hide the sweat beading on his forehead. They're not accusations when you have proof, I replied, pulling out a manila envelope. Security footage from the house. Bank statements showing mysterious cash withdrawals. And this, I placed a small recorder on the table. Dad's own words about why he changed his will. Derek lunged for the recorder, but Uncle Robert caught his arm. Let's hear it, son. I pressed play. Dad's voice, weakened by illness but strong in conviction, filled the room. This is Thomas Morrison, being of sound mind on October 15th. I'm making this recording in the presence of my attorney because I know my son Derek will contest my will. He's been stealing from me for 2 years, thinking I'm too sick to notice. I've seen him practice my signature. I've watched him take things from the house. I'm leaving the bulk of my estate to my daughter Samantha because she's the only one who never asked for anything except my time. The recording continued, but Derek had gone pale. That's not, he was sick. He didn't know what he was saying. Is that why you had Dr. Phillips declare him incompetent? I asked. Oh wait, you tried that. But Dad's actual doctors confirmed he was lucid until the end. Dr. Martinez and Dr. Wang's assessments are in the file. Melissa finally spoke. Derek, what did you do? I didn't do anything, he shouted. I took care of him. I was here every day. You were here every day he was alone, I corrected. Funny how you never visited when anyone else was around, except yesterday, apparently, when you claim he signed a new will. I pulled out another document. Speaking of yesterday, here's the visitor log from the nursing home. You signed in at 2:15 p.m. Dad's morphine dosage was increased to end-stage levels at noon. He hadn't been conscious since morning. The nurse said he had a moment of clarity. Which nurse? I asked. Because I have statements from every staff member on duty. No one saw Dad awake after 11 a.m. But someone did see you in his room with papers. Katherine stood up, pointing at Derek's will. Let me see that. Derek clutched it to his chest. This is legitimate. Dad wanted me to have everything. I'm the son. I'm the one who carried on his name. You're the one who stole his watch collection and sold it, I said quietly. You're the one who emptied Mom's jewelry box after she died and blamed it on a break-in. You're the one who convinced him to take out a second mortgage for your business ventures that never materialized. You can't prove any of that. I pulled out more papers. Pawn shop receipts with your signature. Security footage from the jewelry store where you sold Mom's engagement ring. Bank records showing the mortgage money going directly into your accounts. The room erupted. Melissa was crying. Katherine was shouting. Aunt Helen looked like she might faint. Through it all, Derek stood there, still clutching his forged will like a life preserver. "I'll contest this," he said. "I'll take you to court." "Please do," I said. Richardson and Associates is prepared. They have the original will witnessed and notarized. They have Dad's medical records confirming his mental capacity. They have the security footage from their office showing Dad's signing of his own free will. And they have this. I pulled out the final document. A report from Henderson Forensic Services. They examined your will this morning. The signature is forged. The witness signatures are forged. The notary stamp is fake. You didn't even use the right date format for the nursing home. Derek's will fluttered to the floor. He promised me, he whispered. All those years he promised me everything. He promised you what you earned, I said. And according to his actual will, you earned exactly $20,000 in Mom's car, the one you crashed last year. Katherine gets the vacation house. Melissa gets the investment portfolio. The house goes to all three daughters equally, and the business. I paused, meeting his eyes. The business is being sold. The proceeds go into a trust for his grandchildren's education. All of his grandchildren except yours, since you don't have any. Funny how he thought ahead. This is wrong, Derek said, his voice breaking. I'm his son. I deserve. You deserve to be in jail, Uncle Robert said quietly. Forging a will is a felony. Elderly financial abuse is a crime. You're lucky if Samantha doesn't press charges. Derek looked around the room, searching for allies, but found only disappointed faces. Even Aunt Helen, who'd always favored him, had turned away. I was here, he said desperately. I took care of him. You were here to steal from him, Katherine said coldly. We all saw it. We didn't want to believe it. I stood, gathering my documents. The funeral is Thursday. Dad's actual wishes were simple. Cremation, no service, ashes scattered at the lake where he taught us to fish. You're welcome to attend, Derek, but the will reading is Friday at 2 p.m. Bring a real lawyer, not another forged document. As I headed for the door, Derek grabbed my arm. Samantha, please. We're family. I looked at his hand on my arm, then at his face. For a moment, I saw the brother who taught me to ride a bike, who defended me from bullies, who'd been my hero before greed consumed him. We were family, I said softly. Until you decided Dad's money mattered more than his memory. I pulled free and walked out, leaving him standing in the living room we'd played in as children. Behind me, I heard Uncle Robert on the phone, probably calling his lawyer son. I heard Melissa comforting Katherine. I heard Derek's world collapsing with the quiet rustle of forged papers on hardwood. Outside, the October air was crisp and clean. Dad's house, soon to be sold and divided, stood behind me like a monument to better times. In my car, I had one more recording from Dad, one I hadn't played for the family. His last message to me, recorded the day we signed the real will. Samantha, if you're listening to this, it means Derek did exactly what I expected. I'm sorry to put you through this, but I knew you were the only one strong enough to stand up to him. The truth is, I would have given him everything if he'd just asked honestly. If he'd admitted his debts, his failures, his need. But he chose to steal instead. He chose to lie. And I can't reward that, not even with my dying breath. Take care of your sisters. Try to forgive your brother, even if you can't forget. And remember, the real inheritance isn't money. It's knowing you became the person I hoped you'd be. Love, Dad. I sat in my car for a long moment, tears finally coming. Not for the money or the house or even for Derek's betrayal. But for Dad, who'd spent his last weeks planning for a betrayal he'd seen coming. Who died knowing his son would try to steal his legacy before his body was cold. The phone buzzed. A text from Richardson and Associates, forensic report filed with the authorities. Mr. Morrison's attempt to file the forged will has been documented. Shall we proceed with charges? I typed back, not yet. Let him come to the reading. Let him see everything he's lost, then we'll decide. Derek had forged more than Dad's signature. He forged his own fate, one lie at a time. The saddest part. Dad had left him enough to start over, to pay his debts, to build something honest. $20,000 in a car might not be a fortune, but it was more than he deserved after what he'd done. As I drove away, I wondered if Derek would show up at the lake for the scattering. If he'd stand with us as we said goodbye to the man who'd seen through him in the end. If he'd ever understand that Dad's real will wasn't about punishment, it was about truth. The handwriting expert had confirmed what Dad knew all along. You can forge a signature, but you can't forge character. And in the end, that's all we really leave behind.